Depuis qu'elle se rapproche du bloc occidental, la Géorgie, république ex-soviétique du Caucase, devient une destination touristique de plus en plus appréciée. Sa capitale Tbilissi, outre les diverses ethnies qui l'ont toujours peuplée, accueille aujourd'hui des masses de touristes venus du monde entier. Cependant, à une vingtaine de kilomètres de cette ville festive et bariolée, où se sont installées depuis longtemps les ONG de George Soros, dans les collines au sud-ouest de Tbilissi, je découvre le village de Kiketi, où règne une toute autre ambiance. C'est au flanc de ces collines que s'est ouverte en 2009 l'école Iakob Gogebashvili, une école privée agréée par le ministère géorgien de l'Éducation. À ne considérer que son aspect extérieur, assez luxueux et ouvertement inspiré du style britannique, on pourrait croire qu'il ne s'agit que d'une école privée de plus, où les gagnants de la transition post-communiste cherchent à mettre leur progéniture à l'abri des ravages causés par la détérioration qualitative des systèmes d'enseignement public hérités de l'époque communiste. En réalité, cet aspect extérieur relativement conventionnel cache une expérience éducative des plus originales. Levan Vasadze, bonjour.
Bonjour.
Nous sommes à Kiketi, dans les locaux, plus précisément dans la bibliothèque de l'école Iakob Gogebashvili, dont vous êtes l'intendante. How long does this school exist?
The school was founded back in 2009, so today it's the 9th academic year for the school, and we are really proud of our school. We love it, and people always say that this is not only the school, but this is the family. And we try to give the children not only academic background, but also the love and the upbringing that a family does give to every child.
So today was the official opening of the school year, and I saw that it began with an Orthodox Mass. How important is religion in the philosophy of your school?
Whole Georgian life and our tradition is based on Orthodox Church and Orthodox tradition. So using religion in child's everyday life, like starting morning with a morning prayer and having priest at school to whom child can go and get instructions from him, this is equally important to us.
So one might describe this school philosophy as not axiologically neutral, as let's say liberal schooling would have it.
Well, as every school, be it public or private, we follow Georgian educational program. So whatever the ministry gives us as the basis for our academic education, we have to follow it. But if we speak about the freedom of choice, this is our choice. And we choose Georgian traditional Orthodox religion, and we tell people that we have it. And our school lives the life like this. And if this is acceptable for you, then come and join us.
The school was founded by Georgian financier and philanthropist Levan Vasadze.
Yes, Levan and his wonderful wife Nino, who have 8 children, and now 7 of their 8 children study at our school.
Levan Vasadze, bonjour.
Bonjour.
Les téléspectateurs de TV Libertés vous connaissent déjà grâce à l'interview que vous avez eu la bonté de nous confier en mai dernier à Chisinau. Et nous voici à présent dans votre bastion géorgien de Kiketi, sur les collines dominant Tbilissi, où se trouve d'une part votre maison, mais aussi, et c'est encore plus intéressant, l'école que vous avez fondée dans cette localité rurale, donc des environs de Tbilissi, à laquelle vous avez donné le nom de Iakob Gogebashvili. So, as the founder of the Iakob Gogebashvili school, what can you tell us about the history of this project?
Bonjour, merci. Je voudrais m'excuser d'être fait ma présentation en anglais, mais mon français n'est malheureusement pas assez bon. The school is the result of our desire to raise our children to the best of our ability. We have lived abroad for many years, my wife and I. And when our children started growing up, we decided that we very much wanted them to grow up in their authentic culture. And it's very important for a human being to have cultural identity. And so we decided to come back home and do what we can to create this school. And so in many ways it embodies and unifies all the good things we have seen abroad. We lived in Russia, we lived in England, I studied in the United States, and we wanted a synthesis of whatever is out there in terms of the methodology, the infrastructure, but we very much wanted to have Georgian content. As you know, our culture is rooted in Christian tradition, and this is not a religious school, this is a civil private school, but it has many traditional components. We believe that education should not be our only concern, and we view the process much broader. We believe upbringing of a human being is a broader concept than just academic education. So we approached this from that angle. And we tried to develop a more well-rounded process of upbringing, which is aimed at kidnapping children from the dangers of modern world, while offering them the maximum of opportunities of the modern world. As we all know, our children are living in the era where everything is accessible for them. And we don't believe in prohibitions, but we believe in suggestion. And so our philosophy is suggest health and suggest happiness and provide them with the necessary tools to make their choices correctly themselves. One of the main problems of modern world, and we see it everywhere, is disproportionate involvement of our children in virtual world and their dispatchment and distancing from the real world. So we decided to create an environment which is very engaging during a big part of the day, where they rest from virtual world and they are in the real world. We have a full day program which consists of 4 blocks of upbringing. Academic education, of course, which is in tune with the requirements of Georgian Ministry of Education and Science. We are a licensed school, and we are in full adherence with the requirements of our ministry. But that's just one. Athletics and sports, we have a very comprehensive interactive program which includes, I think, 13 sports varieties across seasons and ages, and boys separate, girls separate. Third block is what we call life skills, and it includes some labor activities We all had, to different degrees in our schools when we were growing up, similar classes. But our program is different in a way that when children work at our school, it's not for games. Whatever they do, they actually need it themselves. So, for example, they eat 100 loaves of bread every day. They bake that bread for themselves. Moreover, they even make cheese and some dairy products themselves, which then they eat and consume themselves. And the fourth part of our program is spiritual development. We don't force it on children. We don't believe in sort of artificial lecturing of faith upon them. Actually, that part of our program is supervised by Georgian Orthodox Christian Church, and it is their methodology. I was very surprised how flexible and original it turned out to be. I think if I had it my way, I would do it in a much more rigid and inflexible way. The church decided to give some education. So after the 5th grade and up, we teach children basics of Christianity and also basics of other religions from our Christian point of view, because you need to have a point of view when you look at the world. But these lectures are not for tests and exams and homework, and they're not graded. Maybe that is why they love this subject the most. When the bell rings, they don't run away and they stay in class and ask more questions. And for our children, religion is not an artifact in a museum. It's part of their daily life, and priest is a part of their daily life. And they don't study the religion, they experience it. Then we go to the schoolyard, where we have this very interesting concept, which is the lineup. We didn't have it at first, and then we somehow organically arrived at the understanding of that we need something like this. It's a psychological Rubicon beyond which children put their signature that we start here, in a way. Well, we start with the prayer, but when we line up and we say good morning, everything begins for them. At that lineup, whenever I'm in Tbilissi, I do it myself, and I do as much of it as I can. Rain or snow, doesn't matter. We just do something there. I say to them something joyful or something cheerful or something sad from life. I give them the impulse. And then we go do brief gymnastics, which is quite simple but very good after the bus ride, so they shake up. And then we do we have our breakfast and go to class. Lessons take us to lunch, so at around 2:30, depending on the grade, we have our lunch. After lunch, what do? You cannot do sports. You have just eaten, and you cannot study your homework. You will fall asleep because you have just eaten. That's when we work. And during those labor activities, they cool off, they play around, they mess around, but they also work. And it's a very nice way to let the steam out and reload psychologically. And after that, we are ready to do homework. And we do all the homework at school. Our psychologists have suggested that we don't put them back in the same classroom. So we've developed and built for them separate pavilions where they sit together and do their homework. And during that session, they have teachers around them. So if they don't understand something, they can raise their hand and silently ask the teacher, or better wait for the break. And we don't let them out if they say we finished. So they know that they have to sit through the measured period of time, which on average they need to complete the homework, as our specialists believe. And they can read a book of some kind if they're finished with the homework, but they have to sit through this, and this way we know they are not skipping the homework. And after that, we start our sports. So after sports, we have a light snack, and we send them home. We don't like a dormitory system as an idea, especially among young children. We believe they need to be with their parents. So they're home fully complete. They have done their homework, they have done their sports, they arrive. Young ones arrive home at around 6 p.m., older ones at around 8:30 p.m. So they're home for supper and they have a couple of hours, but they can't really do much in terms of abusing the virtual world, because they have to wake up early in the morning and do the same. And this way we sort of give them as much as we can in a sane environment. And I'm very happy to say that we are number one now in Georgia in terms of academic grades on average in the country.
So it is conceived, one might say, as a seminal thing that should hopefully spread one day over maybe the entire territory of Georgia.
Well, nowadays we have 2 schools that we support, and they are very much alike in the sense of educational program and the school life.
And we're also the first school, I think, after the breakup of Soviet Union, which introduced uniforms, because we don't think it's good to have this culture of showing off who wears what and spending energy and attention on it. We want to keep the school small because many children are brothers and sisters. Close to half of our children are siblings from big families. We have heavy discounts for siblings. So second child, I think, is minus 10%. Third child is minus 15%, and fourth child, I think, is almost free. And as a result, strong, healthy families with many children choose our school. And as a result, we have many kids who are siblings of everyone is a brother and sister across the classes. And the atmosphere is very family-like. We want children to be at comfort and at ease with being closer to nature. And we pity ourselves for being homo urbanicus. And we view ourselves as animals of cages of concrete, which are called apartments. And we want to give children the sense of freedom, and also the sense of proximity to traditional rural life. We hope that when they create their families, this model of normality and sanity will be their preferred choice.
So is it reasonable to say that you are consciously creating the Georgian national elite of the 21st century?
Elite is in many ways, as you know, a pretentious or a snobbish term. And if by elite we mean people who will be making most money and making sort of most noise, probably not. But if by elite we mean people who will be peaceful and family-oriented, then perhaps yes. Because our definition of elite is normal people with a profound sense of not their rights, but their responsibilities. Sometimes parents ask us, well, don't you think you're raising them in a laboratory which makes them not fit to be in the real world? Our experience shows that no, our kids, go and interact with the rest of their generation in Tbilissi, which is quite noisy and quite chaotic, as many large cities are. And they do very well because they distinguish. They know the peace from excessively vibrant and restless lifestyle, and they'll make their share of mistakes, they'll make their share of bad choices, but they will know where they were the happiest. I think.